Now here we have the art of gouache or gouache, depending on how you'd like to pronounce it. An inspiring and practical guide to painting with this exciting medium by Jeremy Ford. Now this was published in 2019 by Search Press. It's a paperback with 144 pages. Now many years ago when I was at art college, we called this gouache, and it was one of the main mediums that we used with our design work. And I remember it being quite fun to use and quite forgiving, but it did have its problems as well. But it was nice to see a few years ago that it was becoming more popular. So I've watched quite a few of Jeremy's demonstrations, and he is a wonderful teacher, so I thought this was a book that I wanted to have a look at. And I've actually had this since it came out in 2019. So let's have a look inside. There's Jeremy there. He has two other books, How to Paint Watercolours and Painting Pastel Landscapes. So we'll have a look at the contents, and we've got an introduction, what is gouache or gouache, materials, getting started, colour and light, the art of gouache, gouache techniques, overcoming common problems, and then we have a project, rose bay willow herb. Then we have poster style, introducing poster style, and we have Ullswater Lake, illustrative style, and we have a red onion in still life, and then we have moving forwards, where Jeremy talks about composition, painting portraits, painting animals, framing and mounting, and then the afterword and the index. You can see it's lovely effects you can get. Really nice. So first of all, we have a look at what actually is this medium, the advantages over other paints, the materials you're going to need, lots of tips in here as well in the little boxes, different paper, getting started, very helpful consistency guide there, and washes. And here we have morning and evening trees, colour and light, mixing colours. I do like mixing paint, it's so much fun. Colour swatches. And here we have the art of gouache or gouache. We've got Autumn Glory. You can see you get lovely depth of colour, different techniques with washes, splattering, blending. Using food wrap, different brush strokes, overlaying, and overcoming common problems, which is really useful because there are a few problems with this medium. Then we have the first step-by-step project, Rose Bay Willow Herb. That's all nice and easy to follow. Lots of steps to guide you. And some more examples of paintings. And then we have Creative Gouache. Now that's what we called the paint when I was at college. I know a lot of people say gouache, but gouache is just in my brain, and that's what I knew it as, and that's what I continue to call it. Developing your own style. And then we have poster style. And we have the next, we'll do, we missed a page. We have the next project, again step by step, nice bold colours. Another painting, different examples of paintings. Then we move on to illustrative style. So we have the introduction with some examples again, and then we have working from life here. And we have the project of red onion. I mean, just look at that. That's so lifelike. Really beautiful. Lovely colours. Little tip there. So look out for those little boxes throughout the book. They're always very helpful. Some rose hips. And then we have moving forwards. So we've got some examples of different paintings in here, and we have composition, perspective, including incidental figures, sketchbook study, using reference material, and portraits. And then we have painting animals with Jess the dog. And we have some step-by-steps on painting fur here. There's a couple of cats. See, very different styles. You can get lovely texture. And you can have more of a graphic image here. And then we have framing and mounting, and the afterwards and the index. So if you don't know about gouache or gouache, it is a fun thing to try, but I think you do need a little bit of help when you start out, because it is quite different to using watercolour and acrylics. But this book makes it all very easy, and I especially like the bit on the overcoming problems, and the fact we have different styles of painting in this one book. And as I mentioned before, Jeremy Ford is a really good teacher. I've really enjoyed the demonstrations that I've seen him take part in. So he's got 2 other books as well, and I just felt that this was an important subject. Although this book's been on my bookshelf for a long time, I don't really use this medium much myself these days. I do use it occasionally, but it's as part of mixed media. I don't actually create a whole painting in gouache now, but I do use it as part of mixed media. But I think this is an exciting book to show you exactly what you can achieve.